parallel realities unfold, and I know so many other people that are saying, wait a second, that already happened, or we already had this conversation, or and they talk about an event that didn't even happen yet. It's going to happen in the future, and it's getting quite interesting, this process.
Well, I keep saying the veil is thinning, and we're beginning to see to the other side because it's all getting close. So that's kind of like what you're saying, I think, is we are beginning to see things we couldn't see before because the veil is beginning to thin.
Yeah, I'm waiting for somebody to...
It's frightening to some people.
Oh, yeah, it is, because you're letting go of the old world, what's familiar, and I know it's natural for people to fear change and the unknown, and that's exactly what this is.
Yes, it's something that's never happened before in the history of the universe.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
But there's one thing I do want to bring up, because here you're talking about you are working with the Mayans down there. And I have found out why the Mayan calendar stopped at 2012.
Oh, I'd love to hear that.
You're probably aware of the same things that I am, but this the information I've gotten. Okay. I've had people go back to those times when the Mayans were alive and when all this was happening. Because I do so many thousands of people, you're going to have people going to all kinds of lifetimes. And you remember there were also some Indian tribes that totally disappeared.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Atastakis, those. And, the Mayans disappeared, too, at that time. Well, we found out why, as they went through their past life. They were evolving. And they were evolving as a community, as a civilization. And they began to evolve to where their vibrations and frequencies were changing and being raised. And they shifted as a group, as a civilization. They went into this other dimension. They're forerunners. They're already there. That was why these different tribes and groups disappeared, because they shifted into the other dimension where we're going to go, became invisible to people here. And the Mayans, because they could see the future, they were able to see the next big event would be when the entire world made the same shift that they were going to do. And that was why they stopped it at that time. And it makes sense to me.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it definitely does. And I've always felt that just on an intuitive level, that a lot of them reached a certain level, they hit that critical mass point or whatever in consciousness where they just shifted, into the next level. And, some probably stayed behind, just like here, Yeah,
you always have your pioneers, and then you have the other ones that come back, there to guide the others. But it'd be the same way if they weren't ready, they didn't believe or understand, they would have been left behind. Well, the whole mass just disappeared in front of them. That would have been interesting,
We had a group doing we were at Tassajara, and we were in this steam room there. It's a Zen monastery, and they had a steam room, and we were in the steam room, and we were doing this oming with a group that are very committed to spiritual growth and doing toning in this. And then all of a sudden, the whole place disappeared. The walls were gone. Everything was gone, and we were sitting in a field with nothing there, no structures, anything. And we all looked at each other and we went, oh, my God, like this. And all of a sudden, it all came back, when we were sitting in the room again. And so I know it is possible through toning or through getting, the right structure together or sacred geometry. I don't know. There's so many different ways of doing it to actually move to another world or another reality.
Well, see what you were doing with the toning, it has to do with vibrations. And the frequencies. And music is very important. And I think this is what the Swamis do when I work with them. They do toning and oming. But that would have an effect. If you had the right combination, it could actually put you in another dimension.
Yeah, we're just playing. Everybody was seeking out their own tone, and we started doing the Om. We did that 3 times, and we were doing it the old-fashioned way with the AUM, the Aum, and then everybody was just finding their own notes through the vowels and toning whatever felt right to them, and we hit this one combination, and I have no idea what it was, but
if you could remember the combination.
Yeah, get the same group together and just do it again, But
see, this is what I found also. This was how the pyramids were constructed, how all the massive, the monoliths, all the things in history, it was all done with toning, with sound. And they would sit in groups, and sometimes they had horns or instruments, but otherwise it would be the voice, and they knew the right tones, and this is how they could raise the stones.
Yeah, I was
it goes
told
back
the same.
to the Bible, the walls of Jericho.
Oh, yeah.
It all has to do with the sounds and the vibrations and the frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
And those people in those days, in Atlantis and the early Bible times, they knew how to use, the construction of the pyramids and the ones in South America. It was all done with toning.
Mm-hmm.
So they knew the secrets.
Oh, it does make sense, because it's, and I know also, too, they're extremely advanced in technology, more of a spiritual technology, and it wouldn't be any problem for them to raise the frequency of the stone to a level where it could just be pushed around by one person and set into place.
Yeah. And the ones in Atlantis had learned how to make stone malleable so that they could mold them and fit them any way they wanted, which is, if you've ever been to Cusco and to Machu Picchu, especially Cusco, the way the stones are all fitted together, just miraculously. This is all done with the mind. Mm-hmm. So we have lost all of those abilities.
Yeah, I know the...
Okay, go ahead. That was one thing I wanted to add, too, because, I hope I didn't lose it here, but, we lost those abilities, and this is one of the reasons why we're going to have to make this shift. Down through time, we have had so many civilizations that have disappeared that were highly, highly advanced. Atlantis was not the only one. There were many, many other civilizations that rose to the peak of advancement. They could do anything. They had improved their minds to the point that they could do absolutely anything. But then there was always man's greed, and the lust for power would bring the civilization down. Each time, I've been told, they had to start over again. And it was like blowing a fuse. They had to start over from the primitive state and just come back up again. Mm-hmm. And they said, this time we have reached that point again where we could go to the peak of advancement and bring all our psychic abilities back. They're coming back. And it's such an important time, but if we could blow it again. And they said, it's not enough time now to start all over and let you build a whole civilization again. They're tired of that. That's why we're moving into the new earth to separate the two instead of destroying it and beginning again.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things they were showing me was that there are kind of rules of engagement with these higher dimensional beings, and they're working very hard to inspire us to take, the right action and working with the energy grids and things like that, trying to keep it together here.
Yes.
And I know that they just put out some footage, it's NASA footage, where these huge spheres are actually circling the sun right now, metallic spheres, and I know they've actually sat in front of some of these huge coronal mass ejections coming towards the Earth and expanded their fields and blocked them. And these are NASA photos. I actually have these. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't realize how much is being done on our behalf, but, they can't come down here and babysit us and tell us what to do and how to live and everything else. That's something that we have to do. That's our part.
Yeah, that goes against the law of non-interference, our free will. But I've been told the same thing, and it's in some of my books, that they were projecting energy into the center of the earth, and it comes back out, and this was part of the stabilizing process, or we would have had a lot more disasters by now. So they're doing the best they can without interfering.
Because, definitely I know in the 80s or 82, I saw just horrible events, and it culminated at the end with the Earth just turning into this big mud ball and just totally denuded of everything. they showed me that, and it really inspired me to get busy. And they said, this